In the 70s, Famagusta used to be one of the world's most famous tourist destinations, with many celebrities traveling to the Mediterranean island. This soon changed when the Turkish army invaded the island in 1974. Overnight, the city's Greek inhabitants fled, and the resort town of Varosha was locked off. For more than 40 years, nobody was allowed to enter the area. Only since 2021 have parts of the town been opened up to the public. I decided to take this chance and explore the ghost town of Varosha. Good morning from Famagusta here in the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. And good morning also from this little guy down here. And one of the world's biggest ghost towns is located here, Varosha, a neighborhood of Famagusta. And I've been waiting for a long time to get the chance to explore it. It's only open since 2021. Before, the whole area was completely off limits. So let's say I will finish my halloumi sandwich for breakfast and my coffee, and then we're gonna go explore. We just parked the car back there, and now it is a 10-minute walk to the entrance to Varosha. It should be located right behind this hotel over there. So that's where we're gonna go now. While walking to the entrance of the ghost town of Varosha, I also passed by a couple of military bases. So we're here at the beach, the infamous Palm Beach. So this is right at the border to Varosha. And as you can see, there's like these umbrellas here, and back there we have some boats. So yeah, this beach is in active use today. In the summer you can rent sunbeds here and umbrellas for €3 as the price list said over there. In 1974, following a Greek coup attempt to annex the island to Greece, the Turkish army invaded the island to support the Turkish Cypriots living there. The invasion ultimately led to the division of Cyprus and the division of its most famous tourist hotspot, Famagusta. I'm here in the opened area of Varosha, so not the whole ghost town is opened, only parts of it. But before we have a look around, let's talk a little bit about the history. So in my previous video I covered a lot about the history of Cyprus and its division, about the conflicts between the Greeks and the Turks. So back then, before the Turkish army invaded, when this was still under Greek control, Varosha used to be one of the major tourist towns in the whole world. Celebrities from all different countries came here to spend their summer holiday here because it's a beautiful Mediterranean beach here. The water is super clear. It's just really nice. So this here was a really flourishing tourist town. Back then, around 40% of all hotel beds of the whole island of Cyprus were located here. Then in 1974, the Turkish army invaded Famagusta, and the Greek population here in Varosha fled. They fled to a lot of other towns, and all of this became abandoned. And once all the Greek people were gone, the Turkish army fenced it off, and this was a no-go zone until 2021. Only in 2021 did parts of Varosha open up for tourism. Today it's completely free to visit. Everyone can come here and look at the remains of this once flourishing town. And now it's enough about history. Let's explore and see some of the abandoned hotels. Today, Varosha remains a highly sensitive topic, not only on the island of Cyprus, but also for Greeks and Turks in general. Only in 2021 did parts of the abandoned area open up to tourists.
I visited early in the morning in late November 2024 and had most of the area to myself. You can walk freely in designated areas while being watched by Turkish police. However, most parts of the ghost town are still locked off, and due to the high military presence, I decided to stick to the public areas.
So up here, Europe first. Up here we even have it in German, Europa Pelze. This used to be a fur shop. I guess that's very 70s, because nowadays if you wear some fur you got cancelled instantly. Which, by the way, I think is a good thing. You shouldn't wear fur, in my opinion. Back there on the planters you can see, we're not allowed to film there, but there is a UN office right here, because this whole area nowadays is under the control of UN soldiers. And there might also be some Turkish soldiers here, I'm not exactly sure. Here, there must have been a lot of German tourists, because Edelweiss, this cafe has a very German name. If you want to open a German cafe anywhere, just call it Edelweiss. Doesn't matter what food you serve, call it Edelweiss, it's gonna be German. So up here we can see the flag of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus and the Turkey flag. The police patrolling at the entrance to this whole area asked me if I carry any flags with me, so highly sensitive topic, you cannot have any flags of any kind. But yeah, there we can see a clear statement, the flag of the TRNC.
According to international law, Famagusta is still part of the Republic of Cyprus, which is in the EU. However, since 1974, the entire town has been under Turkish control, which does cause some tension between both sides.
We can clearly see here, this road here is close to the public still, and it's just completely overgrown with scrub and bushes and grasses. It's just really impressive to see the power of nature and how nature takes back what humans once took from it. Behind me we just have the best example of it.
This old Toyota car dealership here is probably one of the most iconic buildings in Varosha today.
So here on this plaque we can see that this Toyota building here originally belonged to Turks. However, when Cyprus became independent, the title of this building got illegally removed by Greeks, so they removed it from the register so that nobody could trace back the original owner, who was Turkish. And a lot of these kind of things happened between Turks and Greeks back then, so both sides did things like this. This plus other reasons eventually led to the Turkish army invade the country in 1974.
Conflicts between Turkish and Greek Cypriots like this were no rarity back then, until the Greek government initiated a coup with the goal of making Cyprus part of Greece. In response, the Turkish army invaded the island in support of the Turkish Cypriots.
Here we have an old Kodak shop. They probably sold like films, maybe like cameras, for people to take their pictures on holiday, because they didn't have phones back then. And wow, here there's actually still a lot of stuff in here.
After exploring the Leonidas Street, I decided to head down to the beach to explore the John F. Kennedy Avenue, where most of the luxury hotels were located.
I think this road will lead down to the beach, and in general I'm actually surprised about how many visitors there are. It's almost December already, definitely not holiday season anymore, but I think during summer times there would probably be way more people. Since this place opened in 2021, almost 3 million people have visited, a lot of former residents, a lot of Greeks that used to live here, a lot of Turks as well, and then of course a lot of people from all over the world. Most foreigners who are not Turkish, they will come from the southern part of Cyprus and they're gonna cross the DMC and come here. And Varosha nowadays is one of the major tourist attractions in the northern part of Cyprus. Even though the UN strictly forbids using this area for commercial use, when it was announced that parts of Varosha would open to the public, not everyone was happy about it, because the TRNC is officially not supposed to use this area for commercial use, because Greeks had to leave their hometowns in 1974. They had to leave everything behind, and this area here was developed under Greek rulership. If the TRNC would start making money off this area now, I personally do understand why Greek people might be pissed off about that. And that's also what I talked about in the beginning. They only started putting like sunbeds and umbrellas to the beach very, very recently and rent them out for a couple of euros. And a lot of people are not happy about that. Here I'm standing in front of the old Asterias hotel, and this one used to be one of the big hotels back then when Varosha was a tourist hotspot. It has its own beach access. Right here behind this hotel we have the beach. So yeah, this must have been one of the best hotels back then. Down here we can have a look at the beach. So today this part of the beach reopened. There is a little cafe over there. There are showers, there's a little playground. And the water here is super nice. It's beautiful and clear. And here in the back behind me you see all these abandoned old hotels. And yeah, the beach is absolutely beautiful. No wonder this was such a popular tourist destination back in the 70s.
After resting for a few minutes at the beach, I decided to head back into town to explore one last remaining area.
Back here, this blue hotel, this one is the last operating hotel here in Varosha, so they completely modernized it and nowadays you can stay there. However, there have been news, I'm not sure if they are true, but I've heard that investors did buy some of the abandoned hotels in there, some of the former luxury hotels, and they have plans to turn them into active hotels again to attract tourists inside of Varosha. And yes, of course, this is a very, very, very sensitive topic and a lot of people are against this resettlement.
In a couple of days I'll fly back to Turkey. Even though most Turks have told me it wasn't worth visiting Ankara, I want to find out for myself. If you want to see what I find in Ankara, check out my next video. Hope to see you again next time.